Hey, Grievers and Groovers. How's it going? Happy 4th of July. We're only going to go for a few minutes here today, obviously because of the holiday, and I'm not really expecting anyone to be able to tune in because you should be out having, hot dogs, potato salad, and beer, and waving the flag, and looking at fireworks and parades, and hanging with your peeps, and all that fun stuff. But I just wanted to briefly hear if anyone is watching on this time. Hi, Izzy. We're just talking very briefly about favorite memories from 4th of July. And then also the question is, how has watching home movies that feature deceased loved ones when they were living, obviously, how that affects your grief? Because I basically have been saving my pennies for a year in order to get a lot of my home movies from the 90s transferred over digitally so I could watch them, because I don't have a high-8 camera anymore or any kind of player that could play my home movies from the 90s. And I just got them all back yesterday. Ironically, yesterday was my mom and dad's wedding anniversary. Even though they divorced 10 years after they got married, I would always call both of them on their anniversary on July 3rd. And so I don't think it's any mistake that I picked up the home movies yesterday. And of course, there were home movies with my mom and my dad in them, which is just, it was so weird. So I wanted to see if you guys ever watched movies with your deceased loved ones in them and how that made you feel. I mean, it literally, at first it's like joy, and then it's just sad. But it's a bit like being hugged and slapped at the same time, But one of the big takeaways from watching these home videos of me in the 90s, which is when I was in my 20s, I guess, ish, yeah, was that, especially as women, we criticize ourselves and we think that we're not as skinny as we need to be, or as pretty as we need to be, or whatever it is. Insert, utopian ideal, unrealistic ideal that society imposes on you here. And, in your 20s, you're insecure and you're wondering if the path that you're on is the right one, and you kind of don't know what's going on, and you're still kind of fully forming your kind of adult sensibilities and individuating from your parents and all of those lovely things that happen when you're in your 20s. I moved to London, England in my 20s and basically lived there almost the entire decade. And, like many other women, or young women, I should say, had crushing low self-esteem, thought that I, needed to work out more, and I wish I had a six-pack, and wish I had Madonna arms, and, all this other stupid stuff. And I was looking at some of the footage, and little secret I'm going to share with you guys. I know it's hard to believe, but I was a supermodel in my 20s, and I didn't even know it. I couldn't believe it, because even one video I was looking at, and I was just like, oh, I don't remember her working there. She's a babe. And then suddenly I look and I'm like, oh, wait, that's me. What? I was maid of honor at one of my best friend's weddings, and I remember I had to borrow a super glamorous dress to wear because, I'm from Dayton, Ohio, kind of just your average sort of, middle-class existence, and never really dressed up for a lot of stuff. My family wasn't a big dress up and go, fancy places or anything like that. And so I think my whole family, meaning, my dad, my mom, and I, were just feeling like, I don't know, that's for fancy people to dress up a lot. So it wasn't until I was older where I'm like, oh no, you need to have a nice outfit for funerals and weddings and things like that, But at the time, in my 20s, I didn't have anything super foxy. So I borrowed a dress from a friend of mine, especially because I was overseas and I didn't have a lot of stuff from home. And she gave me like a movie star red carpet gown to wear. And I can remember feeling so self-conscious and ugly and tugging at it. And it was just ill. I just felt it was weird because it kind of showed off everything. And, you know, and then of course now I look back on it and I'm like, oh my God, you're a supermodel. What is happening? And why did you think less of yourself? So this is the takeaway of all this rambling about low self-esteem in your 20s. This is the takeaway. You are a supermodel right now. If you're healthy, if you have your health and you're not worrying and all your parts work, that means you're a supermodel on the cosmic catwalk. So if anyone is in their 20s watching this, Izzy, I know you're in your 20s. You're a supermodel. You guys are all supermodels. Don't listen to what society says is conventionally beautiful. Just try to move it aside. Tell society to go take a hike and just revel in your unique, lovely self and your beauty. I wish I would have done that in my 20s. And it is true what Nora Ephron says. You know, if you think you look bad now, 10 years from now, you're going to look back on pictures of yourself now and you're going to be positively nostalgic for how you look. And it's so true. So, you know, speaking as an adult my age now, 10 years from now, I'm going to look back on how I look now with full-on man whiskers and menopause and all of these lovely things. The only thing hard on my body is my tooth enamel. And I'm going to look back on it and just think, man, I wish I looked that good. Well, I still have hair, although my hair is, you know, getting thinner as you get old. I am literally going to be bald as the day I was born when I reach 70. If I'm lucky enough to reach 70, and you know what? Even if I have 2 curls left on my head, I'm gonna rock the shit out of them. So that is my takeaway. That is me on my soapbox about people and their low self-esteem. I'm telling you. And it was just, so back to the griefy thing, I saw footage of going to, Lindsay says, with age comes wisdom. Yes, this is true. You don't have to have a 6-pack. You don't have to have 6-pack abs to have wisdom, which is handy because I don't have 6-packs. Or I could just lie to you and say I do, but you can't see them. They're not pictured right now. You can't, just from up here. I do look like a professional athlete when I'm in my swimsuit at the pool. No, but back to the grief aspect of things. It was so strange to see my parents and to hear their voices, you know. I don't know if you guys found this when somebody died in your family. Do you feel like, oh no, I'm going to forget what they sound like. I'm going to forget their voice. I'm going to forget their laughter or, you know, whatever. And I got to see a clip, and I'm not going to cry on 4th of July. Oh my goodness, it's getting me emotional. Oh. You know, I got to hear my mom go, hi, baby, how are you? You know, so that was exciting. I loved that. And it makes you emotional because, you know, haven't heard her voice in so long. It's crazy. But what I did love, I mean, that was truly like being hugged and slapped. It was a video of Thanksgiving. My English friend and I flew, we were living in England, or I was living in England, and then I wanted to come home for Thanksgiving. So I have my friend come with me, my friend Steve. And we've got just a snippet. It's only like a 30-second snippet of me videoing everybody sitting down to the table. And mom is, you know, my mom is like telling, okay, this is the oyster dressing. This is the regular dressing. That's the hot, spicy sausage dressing, you know. And I just was like holding my laptop. I just wanted to be like, oh, I wanted to hop in and eat all of the food because my mom did up Thanksgiving right. So that was really fun to see all the yummy food. And then just to see, you know, our travels. You know, my mom came over to visit me in England, and then we traveled all over. You know, we went up to York, and I had all the footage of us in York, and it's just odd and strange. And it feels to me, and let me know if you guys feel this way too. Hi, Denise. We're just talking about home movies. I just got all of mine transferred over and watched them all day and all night last night and then all day today. So I'm feeling a little emotional on 4th of July. But what was I going to say? Oh, yeah. So it's just so strange to see on video, you know, my mom, where she lived in Chicago and had Thanksgiving, and all of us were sitting down, and it kind of feels like she still exists there. And when you're watching these memories, it takes you back. It's just like an instant time machine, and you remember how it smelled and felt, and you know, the vibe of it all. And it's almost as if it still exists in another dimension. I don't know. It just felt like this weird kind of time capsule. And, you know, my mom and footage of my mom and my dad in the 90s, their glasses were gigantic. Did we feel that eyeglasses were gigantic, that took up your whole face in the 90s? Was that the thing? I thought that was more 80s, but yeah, it's crazy. And then I want to hear also what you guys are doing today, your plans for the 4th, or if you've already done your thing and now you're just chilling at home, or if you've got any fun 4th of July memories with any of your dead rellies that you know, look back on with fondness. I want to know. We're going to wrap up in about 10 minutes, but yeah, back to the whole surreal aspect of home movies. It really, it is. It's so contrary. On one hand, it's so comforting because you do kind of feel like they still exist in that place. But then you know that they don't. And then you're in it too. So if that place still existed in some other dimension, you're in this dimension. I mean, I'm telling you, it's a mind-boggling thing. It just messes with your head. And, you know, let's see, my mom died 6 years ago. My dad died 2 years ago. Then there was also a friend who'd passed away that was in one of my videos. And yeah, it's just so crazy. And I can remember, basically because my background is in radio and television, I've been interested in television since I was little. So, and I started working in television when I was 15 in local public access television as a volunteer and as a host. I hosted a music video show called Southside Video. And so obviously I was really into media and broadcasting. And so when I graduated college, my mom gave me a little handheld video camera. And at that point, they were small enough to hold in your hand, not like a phone today. And so I was constantly filming things, and everybody was like, why are you filming? Stop filming. You always have a camera in your hand. Well, guess what? Now I've got hours of footage of all of you guys. And I'm going to try to send it to my friends who are featured in my videos. But Denise says, I'm going through this now, watching these videos while preparing to move and let go. Also, while mom is on her way out. I mean, it's just life is just a series of letting go of stuff. It's just, it's crazy. And I kind of wish I would have been warned about it. But having said that, you know, ignorance is bliss. I mean, you do kind of don't face death until it happens to you or until you have to. And I get it, you know, but I think if we talked about death and grief and the fact that I still feel grief isn't seen as a lifetime process. It's just a thing that happens right after somebody dies, and then that's it. It feels like this lifetime evolution. You know, one of my clients was asking me, you know, how do you comfort a friend who, you know, whose parent is on the way out, and, you know, those kind of things. And it's just like, I think that you just need to be there for them and know that there's no time limit for grief, and that it's just a constantly evolving thing. And, you know, a lot of people make the analogy of grief as, you know, like a wave. It comes in waves. Sometimes the wave buries you and you can barely get air and try to come up to the surface. And then sometimes it just kind of washes past and you just kind of dance over it and it's okay. You know, it's just, it's an evolving thing. It's its own beast. And you just have to kind of accept that it comes in waves. I mean, I thought, you know, I was feeling pretty good, pretty positive, you know, not super melancholy or anything like that. And then I get these home videos and I'm watching them. I'm just like, oh my God, what? Bittersweet. Mostly sweet, just only ever slightly bitter. But what do you think, Denise, with your home movies and stuff? I mean, you go back and look at all of them, and I mean, it's so crazy. You're aware of the passage of time. You're aware of your mortality. You know, I was laughing so hard at certain spots, certain bits, you know. I was amazed at some of the footage because I have zero recollection of any of it. I was just like, I don't remember filming that. And everyone's like, hey, Amy, you've got the camera. And I'm just like, well, I was there, obviously. I have zero memory. I mean, I could hide my own Easter eggs after all these years, but still, when you've got video evidence of something that you were filming, yeah, very strange. But I'm happy that I have them. And it was comforting knowing that they're there. If I need them, if I get freaked out about, you know, missing my rellies and can't talk to them or whatever, I can always go back. But, and then it also made me think, I mean, talk about thinking deep thoughts. I was just sitting there, you know, drinking while I was watching these videos. And it's just, a life is made up of who you love and who loves you. And you kind of forget all of the petty crap that goes down. And it's just, it made me happy that I loved my friends so hard and so big and loved my parents and family too. I mean, it's funny because I felt that I moved to London to kind of get away from, you know, the small town aspect of Dayton, Ohio and things like that, even though I love my friends and family who were there. But I felt I was really kind of on my own, feeling my independence on this Independence Day. And then I look back on these home movies and I'm constantly talking about my parents. And, oh, I'm going to send this back to my mom in Chicago. I'm going to send this video back to my dad in Ohio. And I DJ'd a lot when I lived in London. And one of the videos that I do remember being taken was, oh, I'm going to dedicate a song to my dad. I want you to film it and then I'll send it to him, you know. So that made me feel really good that I was always, you know, appreciative and thankful for my parents and loved them and expressed love to them. And they were always in my thoughts and in my heart because, you know, when you're older, you think, oh, I wish I would have appreciated my parents more. Or I wish, actually, one of my things is I wish I would have appreciated nature as much as I do now. But then in the videos, I appreciated the shit out of nature. We were going through the Lake District and in the Highlands of Scotland, and it was just gorgeous. And we stayed for sunsets in Greece. And I would say, oh my gosh, this is the most beautiful sunset, and it's so peaceful. And I had footage of when I went to Florida with my mom, and I was just filming dolphins the whole time. It was crazy. Denise says, funny that you don't remember and gutted mostly. Yeah, my mom and dad and brother are all gone. I mean, yeah, what do you do with that? Perry says, I'm right there with you and caring for my best friend and moving. It is a heavy combination. It is. It is a heavy combo. I mean, moving is always traumatizing anyway. And change, it's just part of change, you know? And I wish I would have known more about change and the nature of change as well, because you think, oh, I'm comfortable now. I'm not stressed. I'm in a good place. I don't want it to ever change, but it's gonna. Could be change for the positive, could be change for the worse. Depends, but it's gonna change. That's the only thing that you can rely on. And Denise says, you had an amazing relationship with them, it sounds. Yeah, I think I did, but you know, it took work. It took therapy, it took work, it took forgiveness. It took realizing that my parents just did the absolute best that they could do with the information that they had and with how they were raised, the dysfunctional way that both of them were raised. And so I'm really, really grateful that early on, I would say in my 30s, I really, truly appreciated them as an adult, you know, and let them know that. And again, it's like what I was saying about before, after you see these home movies, it's all about the contribution that you gave to them. And I look back on my parents' life and my grandma's life, you know, and I'm so proud and confident and happy and just rock solid knowing that I contributed to their lives in a positive, elevating, uplifting way, especially in their last years of their lives. You know, all of the emails back and forth with my mom and even my dad, but in a lesser emotional way because he wasn't a super touchy-feely guy. But my mom and I just let our freak flags fly. We were like, I love you so much. Oh, I love you too. Oh, you know, to the point of just we were both mocking each other. Lindsay says, little jelly to those that have video because we have so little, but tons of photos of all of those who have gone. I know. I mean, that's the thing. The video is so crazy because it feels like they're right there. And it was 20 something years ago, 93, 94, 95 were the videos that I was watching those years. I mean, it's crazy. And you have these photos that you look at, you know, and even when when I was going through my mom's or my granny's house, when I had to clear out her house for sale, you know, she had a couple photos of me as a kid that I'd never seen. And so suddenly you're just like, oh, that's part of my childhood now. You might not necessarily remember it when I was 2, but yeah, so it's, and then I think George Harrison made a joke about, you know, something like, you know, if there wasn't a photo of us when we were in the Beatles, it didn't mean that, you know, our lives didn't happen outside of the photo. You know, it's kind of like when you see photos, it kind of makes up your memories, you know, because you then remember the photo rather than your kind of experience of whatever the photo is, you know. I don't know, it's weird. Yeah, it's hard to explain. But what a treasure, you know? But again, like there's going to be a point where even the hard drive that I now have all of my defunct, you know, home movies on these, you know, elements that I don't have technology to look at anymore. You know, technology is constantly changing. There's going to be a time where I'm not going to be able to access this hard drive and the $1 jillion that I spent getting it transferred over. Let's not think about that. But again, life is just a series of letting go. There's going to be a point where that doesn't mean, you know, I'm not going to be able to look at these videos. So it's just all in your memory. Or, you know, if something happens to me, nobody else is going to be interested in the home movies. So they're probably just going to be pitched, you know. And going through the homes of my mom and then my granny and then my dad and seeing all the photos, you know, like I took some of them, but after I'm done, you know, when I check out, who wants those pictures? I don't know. Denise says, save them to the cloud. Well, I think some of them are on the cloud. But yeah, it's crazy. So anyway, what are you guys doing, or what did you do today for the 4th? Or do you have a special favorite memory of the 4th growing up? I mean, like most holidays, I feel like it's almost, you know, a kid's holiday in a way, you know. I have great memories of watching fireworks with, you know, friends and family and doing the traditional barbecuing stuff. My mom made an amazing potato salad, and I just came across her recipe in my Facebook memories. I didn't try to make it because I don't know if we can get Marzetti salad dressing in California. I've never looked. It might be right there on the shelves as I speak. But my mom's special, unique, yummy potato salad had Marzetti salad dressing in it. That was one of her secrets. I did not make that, but I can taste her potato salad if I close my eyes. It was so good. But we, Yeah, we would always do it up. My mom would just cook, 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 cook. Yummy baked beans. I'm of the sweet baked beans camp. I do not like the savory baked beans. I like them with a little bit of brown sugar in them, which my British friends just recoil in disgust over. Um, but yeah, I do have a memory of going over to where my grandparents were, and I can't remember where we were in Dayton, but we laid out a blanket and watched the fireworks. Um, and fireworks are always fun. But later, I'm going to just a mile up the road to visit a friend, and we're going to go up to his roof. He lives in an old historic apartment building here in Los Angeles. So I'm going to post probably ad nauseum a million posts from the rooftop, because I went there one 4th of July, I think like 4 or 5 years ago, and it literally has 360 views of Los Angeles. And it is crazy. Like, from as soon as it gets dark, you can look out as far as you can see. We saw the Disneyland fireworks in the distance from Anaheim. That's how far you can see, because it was such a clear night. And you just look down and you just see these little firework displays all over the place. And you can literally stand in the center and then just turn, and at any given point, you can see fireworks coming from somewhere. It is just the craziest thing. It's almost like you have some kind of Disney animator, and they're animating it as you look down. So I'm gonna wear my Booker T and the MG shirt, my only red and blue wardrobe. And I decided to wear a baseball hat just because we're going to be out in the sun up on the roof until the sun goes down. I'm going to leave here in a little bit. And yeah, we're just going to have like a little picnic on the roof. Super low key, not going far, too far. Don't have to deal with traffic and all that crap. So I'm just going to have a very low key, contemplative 4th, hopefully looking out at the sunset, and then fun fireworks. So I'm excited. Denise said, I see my sis on here. Yay! We would go to the dike in DC. Perry is from there too. The whole city went. Fireworks over the bay. That's fun. I love that. I love it. And it's tough, when all our loved ones are gone. But they're in the cosmos, and fireworks are kind of a cosmic fun thing to look at, so I'll be thinking of them. Denise says, it's raining here, so not sure if they're having them in Austin. Oh no, it's a beautiful clear day here in LA, and it's hot, and it's going to be hotter this weekend, and I don't have air conditioning. So basically next week for Grievers and Groovers, next Wednesday, I'm just going to be wearing 2 coconuts and a thong, and then just constantly just fanning myself. It's just going to be, a lot. I'm girding my loins in anticipation. But anyway, we're going to get through it. If anybody's grieving out there, holidays are tough. And we always think of our dead rellies on holidays. And it's bittersweet. But hopefully with time and with loved ones around you, it's more sweet than bitter. But if you're in the early stages of grief, just know that you'll get through it. And you don't have to know how you're going to get through it, but you will. And I'm just sending you guys a big hug, because it's tough. After all these years later, 6 years my mom died, 6 years ago, 2 years my dad died, and it's still, yesterday I was just like sobbing over the home videos. But then laughing so hard that I actually cried, because I didn't realize that there were, my dad joking around on video. And then just a couple, we went to Cooperstown. I took my dad to Cooperstown. We did a road trip for the Baseball Hall of Fame, and just seeing footage of that was hilarious because we had such a good time. Anyway, hi Chanel, evening from the UK. Go England. Loved the match. Hoping that they're going to, who are we facing? Sweden? I say we, as if I am a member of the English soccer team. But I lived there for 7 years, so I feel like I am. But Harry Kane is my imaginary soccer boyfriend. Hey! But anyway, congratulations, Chanel. And hello, it's very late for you there. You're up very late. And you're not celebrating the 4th of July. But happy 4th of July, or as your fellow countrymen in Great Britain say, happy Wednesday. Yeah, anyway, tune in next Wednesday. I go live every Wednesday, even if it's a holiday. 5 o'clock Pacific time, 8 o'clock Eastern time, 1 a.m. GMT time. Come follow me on Instagram. Say hi on Instagram, please, please, please. And I'm going to start putting out more videos. So I want you guys to subscribe to my YouTube channel. But I have to have 1,000 subscribers before I can name it the Good to Go YouTube channel. So until I get 1,000 subscribers, which feels completely impossible to do, but I'm going to do it, I can't make it Good to Go. So I don't have some really handy dandy quick URL to give you. But if you just Google Good to Go on YouTube, I already have a YouTube channel. I have about 6-7 videos up there already, but I'm going to put more up. So we're going to be asking you to subscribe, to be a part of the community, and I'll see you guys next week. All right, so have a good rest of your 4th, or for Chanel or those in Britain, just happy Wednesday. And then Izzy, love you. Thanks for joining in, Denise and Perry and everybody sharing your stories, and Lindsay. I really appreciate hanging with you guys today. I feel better. I was feeling melancholic, but now that I've kind of spewed it all out, had a few tears, I'm ready for the hot dogs. Bring on the hot dogs on the rooftop. That's what I say. All right, you guys, take care, stay safe, and sending all my love out to you guys. All right, see you next week. Bye.